Do you think racism is a top 100 problem in America?
I think it is. I haven't considered the other 99 to give a thorough.
Crime, fathers not being around, obesity, suicide, mental health issues,
For sure.
anxiety, cost of college. Baked into the idea of white privilege is that inherently in our culture as society, somebody that has white skin color in this audience has extra privileges that you as a black individual do not have. Can you list what those are?
Sure. When FDR employed the New Deal to counteract the Great Depression, this came with resources that was allowed it to white people. Banks denied 99% of qualified black applicants while also accepting 99% of white applicants.
But today in 2025.
Okay, today in 2025, as I alluded to you, they've done studies in psychology where white-sounding names receive jobs or callbacks more than black-sounding names. They did the two names. It was a white young lady named Anna Scott, and it was a black young lady named Lakeisha Washington. They both put in 80 job applications. Lakeisha Washington received 9 callbacks and received 75 callbacks out of 80.
That's a good point. I actually, that study is debated, but let's pretend it's true. Do you think it's racism or something else?
I think that answer is multifaceted.
But because it's let me make the best. Sorry to interrupt you. If we live under a status of DEI, and people are getting jobs that they're not qualified for, wouldn't then an applicant then assume maybe that an applicant might be there based on DEI, not on merit? It actually creates more racism where it doesn't exist.
So DEI is not about going and grabbing some random person of color and saying you therefore qualify. DEI is about considering other qualified applicants.
Well, so let's take airline pilots. United Airlines wants 40% all of their airline pilots to be women or people of color. Why does that matter? Number one, because I want a qualified airline pilot, not a person of color airline pilot.
Understood.
So you agree. But number two, there's only so many airline pilots jobs. So when you say we want 40%, by definition, then you have to discriminate against a certain group to get another group to advance, right?
Understood.
Because there's not unlimited amounts of spots for airline pilots or air traffic control or surgeons or whatever position. So when you say that we want to have a quota, that then you have to say we're not going to prioritize a certain group. Let me tell you what I believe, and maybe you might actually agree with it, because I think you do. What we believe as conservatives is that skin color really doesn't matter that much. We care about character and merit. We want a country built on what you bring to the table, not how you look.
Exactly. And America started out with that based on merit, and theoretically, it was supposed to work. In practice, it did not, which is why you have these different programs of affirmative action, DEI, and the Civil Rights Act, because they were not working. You cannot ignore that these policies were created to counteract racism. A counteract to racism is not racism in itself.
Well, I reject the premise, and I will say this. If you do something racist on top of something racist, that doesn't make the second racist action good. That's true. Because if you discriminate against white people to say that we're fighting racism, then that's not a good idea. But instead, I think you can agree that when we build a society like college admissions or job applications, we should say no quotas and just merit. You agree?
I agree.
Then you're against DEI, because DEI says quotas.
Yeah, let me finish. I agree to a certain extent. So when you mention about discriminating against whites, of course, I don't agree with that.
Well, that is DEI, just so we're clear.
Right, and I'm going to say it again.
Cool.
DEI was created to offset racism. We left it up to majority of white America to include people of color or qualifying credentials. They would not. So my argument is that you're saying it's reverse racism. My argument is that it needed to be there to counteract racism. Sounds like we need to find a different solution for both parties.
I have a great solution. Stop talking about race all the time. Race doesn't mean anything. Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job? Are you better than your competitor? Because let me just pause for a second. I just want you to hear out what we believe. Is that when you talk about race all the time, you start to resegregate society based on tribes, and you lose this idea of e pluribus unum, all made in the image of God, out of many one. And yes, we have made many mistakes in our past, but we were getting closer as a country in my childhood as being not obsessed with race. We've become more race obsessed over the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, which is why we're seeing the anti-DEI movement, which actually ends up hurting people of color more than previously. And I guess the biggest question, though, is that why should race matter at all? Shouldn't we just de-emphasize it?
What I wanted to first respond to was the notion of stop talking about race. I don't agree with that notion for the simple fact that talking about things bring awareness. Awareness leads to actions. Actions produce change results. I just want to use your logic and flip it on you. Imagine if you had cancer and your doctor was like, let's just stop talking about it. It wouldn't, in the same context that racism wouldn't go away.
Got it.
Cancer wouldn't go away.
Let's accept that premise.
Not.
Do you think racism is a top 100 problem in America?
I think it is. I haven't considered the other 99 to give a thorough.
Crime, fathers not being around, obesity, suicide, mental health issues,
For sure.
anxiety, cost of college, an open border, Russian-Ukrainian war, nuclear proliferation, artificial intelligence, the rise of China. Like, all that's probably more important than racism. So
I'm not saying it is or isn't.
But however,
you're kind of changing the subject.
No, I'm not. But I'm to say, use your premise. If I have cancer, that's the most important thing happening to me.
Correct.
Racism is not a cancer on America. Racism is sin, and we'll never get rid of sin because we are broken, fallen creatures from our Creator, and we rebelled.
Right,
So
but you do not solve issues by not discussing them. If you and your wife have, I'm not sure if you're married, if you and your wife have a disagreement with communication, and you tell her, like, hey, let's just stop talking about our problems. So problems do not disappear.
I actually don't think it's an issue nearly as much as you do. I think we've made it a bigger issue.
I'm not making it a bigger issue. I'm just discussing. This is just my talking point.
I'm saying generally, but like, let's just say, and then I do want to get your definition, though. What is racism?
Racism is a form of feeling of superiority. It is expressed through discrimination and through the legal system.
Oh, fair enough. So we agree that's wrong and it's terrible. So we should get rid of practices that actively discriminate against anybody based on race. Can you be racist against white people?
Can I? Or
Yes.
black people?
No, can a black person like yourself be racist against a white person?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. We agree, and you should be applauded for that because some people on the left think you can't be racist against white people.
So
some,
just,
not all.
Just to speak for black people,
That's quite a statement, but sure.
well, let me speak for the majority who are of my opinion. So when blacks who, let's say, have disdain for whites, it is not based on racism. It is based in cause and effect. It is normal for anybody to hate a suppressor. It is normal for anybody to hate it is normal for anybody to hate their murderers. America went to war with the British Empire for being suppressed and oppressed. So my concluding point is that a lot of the hate that can be perceived from blacks as white is hating oppression, not white people. Because if you substitute our oppression for a Mexican, if a Mexican oppresses us, we therefore hate him as well. If a black man oppresses us, we therefore hate oppression.
I think that's a fair point. Let me ask one final question, if that's okay. If you had to decide which is a bigger problem facing black America, racism or a lack of fathers raising black kids, which is a bigger problem?
I would say what impact? Repeat the question.
If you had to decide in a binary choice, which is a bigger problem facing black America, racism or a lack of fathers raising black youth?
I think it's a combination of both, but for sure we'll say black because blackness affects blacks more than you ever affect me in my life.
I'm sorry, so you said you would say racism or the black fathers?
Fathers.
I agree. So now we have agreement. Do you agree that the last 5 years we've talked more about racism and way less about dads staying around with the women they impregnate? Would you agree that's probably a problem?
I agree that's a problem amongst all races. When you say we, who is we?
Well, as a society, but it's especially a problem in black America. If you had to guess, I know this is like Trivial Pursuit, but approximate, what percentage of black youth have a stable father around?
I wouldn't know those numbers, sir.
It's about 30%. So that means that 2 out of 3 black kids do not have a dad around.
Mm-hmm. I would have to fact check that for myself.
That's fine. You can
I'll
look it up.
You
guys can look it up on Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity or the AI of your choice, right? And so here's our perspective as conservatives, because this is a colorblind truth. See, as conservatives, we apply things that are true to all human beings regardless of their skin color. That if you don't have a dad around, you're more likely to commit crimes, go to jail, more likely to basically be on the outer fringes of society. When 2 out of 3 black youth don't have dads around, that's a big, big problem. And it creates a cycle of violence and poverty. That's not racism, that's culture. And the cultural problems happening in black America, the white people are not doing that to black America.
Do we not look at the sources of poverty? When I spoke about redlining, that was literally whites forcing blacks into ghettos because they would not give us houses.
No one's going to defend that.
We cannot ignore that.
No one's going to defend that. But
we cannot ignore who created poverty, who created the ghettos.
Let me ask a simple
question. It's disingenuous.
Well, hold on. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to leave the woman you impregnate.
Correct.
That does not transcend every racial group. I want an answer, though, because I'm curious, why is it that so many black men leave the women that they impregnate, more so than any other group? Why is that? Is that the white person's fault?
No.
So maybe the biggest problem facing black America is self-actualized,
Right. I'm not
not
arguing,
external.
I'm not arguing what's the biggest and smallest problems. I was just asking you about
but
white privilege, because it exists.
For sure. But what I'm arguing is that as a society, we had entire years of corporate apologizing, television advertisements talking about racism in America, and zero attention saying, hey, dudes of all colors, don't impregnate women and abandon them because you're cowards. Why hasn't anybody ever said that? Because that actually would fix the country.
What makes you think that hasn't been said amongst the black community?
Can you
I'm a black father. It's been...
Well, thank you. Amazing. Can you point to a single black artist, rapper, or athlete that has said that in the last decade?
About specifically saying black fathers should be involved in their children's life?
No, saying don't abandon the women you impregnate.
Oh, they haven't said it in those words, but they do promote black family ties, which is
Do you think
essentially the same thing.
I'm not trying to nitpick, but do you think most rappers promote staying with their family or not staying with the women that they impregnate?
The rappers that I listen to, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamars, they preach family values.
Okay, I'm not an expert in American rap, but if American rap is promoting family values, then I guess I'll
Not in its full totality. You have different genres of rap. You have gangster rap, conscious rap, hip hop, so forth and so on. But for the artists that I listen to, they absolutely promote those type of values that you promote.
I'm glad to hear that.
I actually agree with many of your conservative takes.
Thank you.
I disagree with some as well. But that's just because I think for myself.
We agree on a lot. We disagree on some. I can say this, that we both want a country based on merit, and I think we should keep that as our ultimate goal and purpose. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, this is lovely. I don't know why people still have this hatred for Charlie, because where is the lie here? Charlie said it is better to get things based on merit, you understand, instead of getting things based on the fact that you're white or you're black. So I think people that criticize this are people that benefit from it. I actually made a video about this, and when Charlie was on a live, someone messaged me. He was like, this guy does not support your people. Why are you supporting him? Like, I don't get it. This is someone that is advocating for equality, you understand? He's not saying give the best job to the white guy there, or give the best job to the Asian guy, give the job to the black guy. He's saying give the job to the person that is qualified for that position. So why then do you guys hate on Charlie? Because I've listened to this video and I'm trying to put my head around, or trying to see reason with you guys to see, okay, maybe this is why people are against him. Me, I love when I do something, or I give the job to someone that I feel can deliver. Yeah, if you are inexperienced, I can teach you. If I have the means to teach you, I can teach you, okay? But it is better to give the job to the person who deserves it, okay? Go in there, do your homework, be the best at your craft. And when you apply for something, you get the job. You see, that is why if you see an organization trying to employ people, they don't look for anyone. They look for the best, because they're trying to grow their business. They're trying to make money. They're trying to make profit. So they look for the best person that can deliver. So why can't it apply to every field? If you're going to college, you see, in Nigeria, we write exam called JAM, and you have to make sure you get the cutoff mark, because you're trying to get the best students. You have to study, because you have a whole year to prepare for that exam that you write for one day. So if you study and you write the exam and you pass, you get opportunity to enter, college or the university. So why then would you prefer, after studying for a full year to write the exam, you pass, and they give the opportunity to someone who did not study simply because of DEI? How will you feel? That is what Charlie is saying. Charlie is saying, give the job to the person who deserves the opportunity, the person that puts in the work. Don't give the job to someone because of their color of their skin. We are all human. Forget the black, white, whatever. Before that, we are human. So the person that deserves the position to get the job. So stop the hate. And I'm still finding a complaint or an organization or a government organizations that practice racism. They all practice a system whereby if you are qualified for a certain job, you're being given that role. And back then, when black and white could not do things together because of racism, that period is gone. Now, so long as you are qualified, you get a job. And I think I watched a video whereby someone was talking about this DEI thing, or talking about how black are being deprived of certain things. And a black guy stood up. He was like, tell me how I am being deprived. He said he has worked with several senators and so many other people. And like I was surprised, and I was happy that at least someone is standing up and is speaking the truth. Because if you are benefiting from DEI, you won't say the truth. You feel like they are trying to take away this from us, how we benefit and this and this. But let's call a spade a spade. Let's be happy when the right person get a job, instead of start hating on Charlie Kirk simply because he's trying to spoil a system that has been going wrong for so long. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. If it is the first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remember blessed.